Hello, everyone. It's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're a growing global community of over 175,000 now across our 8 arts and culture LinkedIn groups. I don't get to meet everyone, as you can imagine, but when I do, it's a pleasure. And that is absolutely the case today. Dawn Farrow has joined me. Dawn is one of our new full members. And we're going to have some fun today. I'm going to let Dawn say hello to you in a moment. But I'm going to create Dawn's fantasy cultural year from the answers to some easy questions to which there are no wrong answers. And I have a time machine and a magic wand that work for that. So there we go. Dawn, thank you so much for joining us as a full member and for joining me today for this. Would you like to say hi to everyone? I'm rather keen to understand what you consider your superpower to be as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, hi, everybody, and it's wonderful to join you all, firstly. So, as Mark said, my name's Dawn Farrow. I am a consultant, marketing professional working across the experiences economy. That's one part of the life I lead, and I work on very large scale global experiences like Friends, Batman, and Squid Game. But when I'm not doing that, I have a business called On Sale Group. And On Sale Group has two parts to it. One is called On Sale Live, it's an annual confex where sales, marketing, and communications professionals from across the globe come together who to talk about the experience economy. So it's the theatre world meets attractions, meets art, meets culture, meets museums, meets location based entertainment. And we come together every year to really talk about, normally we set a theme, but generally speaking, it's around tickets and growing audiences and being healthy at what we do. And as part of being healthy about what we do, we also run a training academy called the Global Institute of Experience Marketing, and we call that GIEM for short. And GIEM, we have a masterclass that we run, a 1 day in person masterclass to train marketers across AI, customer psychology, ticketing, and the future of advertising. When it comes to my superpower is my resilience, without a shadow of a doubt.
Love that. Gavin Phillips, before I forget. I'll introduce you later, but I'm afraid I can't help myself but do this when I think of really useful connections. Gavin is an incredibly smart mid-journey trainer, so
Oh,
he would be really interested in chatting to you about the work you do for those. So excellent. Well, that all sounds great. I'm just going to quickly pull up the website so that people can see where to go for more. So here's the On Sale Live website and all those lovely lanyards from your pilot this year.
yeah.
When's it happening next year, Dawn?
Yes, so it happens every May. So we will be May, 15th of May, 2026, and we currently have tickets on early bird. And depending on when this is shared, that early bird will end the 13th of December. And it's the cheapest ticket we'll have. And we love to see people from the community join us.
Well, that's great. And it's London, is it?
It's in London, it's in King's Cross, so really easy from an access perspective.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, wherever this appears, there'll be links to all of that and GM as well.
Great.
So fantastic. Now we're going to have some fun now. So based on your expertise and your superpower and your passions, I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year. Um, Now, in order to do that, I want to bear in mind I have a time machine and a magic wand, both of which are working. Um, I'm going to start, and I should point out to everyone that you have absolutely no idea what's coming. So if that isn't an experience, I don't know what is. So I'd like you to tell me what's your favorite building?
Oh, a building called Thornton Abbey.
Oh, Fontaine Abbey.
Thornton.
Oh,
T
Thornton.
yeah, Thornton Abbey.
Thornton Abbey and Gatehouse. Let's show
There you go.
everyone, and you can tell me why. Let me share my screen. There we go. How's that? Is that, have I
Yeah,
found the right one?
yeah,
Oh, that looks
that's
beautiful.
yeah, and um that's home. That's where I grew up. That's where my dad's farm is, and
Hmm.
that holds lots of very, very happy memories.
Okay, perfect. Because I'd like you to imagine that somewhere over here, let's put you somewhere here, there is a visitor center with a little cafe in it.
Oh,
And you are sitting there. It's 6 p.m. on a June evening. You've just had a lovely tour of your favorite location, and there's a drink on the table beside you. It can be any drink you like. What would we find there?
ooh, a little sneaky rosé diluted with a good lot of ice.
Rosé on ice.
Mm.
Okay. And there's a book on the table next to you. It could be your favorite book. It could be a recent discovery. It could be a book that's been with you all your life. What would we find there?
Yeah, a book that's been with me on my journey as being an entrepreneur, The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. Excellent. Now you've got headphones in and Spotify is playing. What's playing?
um, wow. Oh, I love my music. My instinct, which is what I must go on, is it's definitely musical theatre.
Right.
And it's very hard. I mean, this is of the moment, because the truth be told, my Glastonbury is coming in a few days because it's the second Wicked film, and so I'm probably listening to Defying Gravity.
Okay. I'd be listening to For Good.
Oh, oh,
So have you seen uh the clip on YouTube of Kirsten Chenoweth and Adina Menzel
oh, don't
trying
beautiful.
trying that song for the first time?
Oh no, not for the first time. I haven't.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There is yeah, they're with the composer.
yes, yes,
Um and yeah, it's them and they're trying to work out where to breathe and you know, it's their first run through of that song together. It's on YouTube. It's brilliant. Great.
beautiful.
There we go. You see, I could stop now because we know everything we need to know about you now. It's a glass of rosé at Thornton Abbey with the Alchemist book on the table and listening to Defying Gravity. Fantastic. You see, those four are all different. However, that's not where we're going to stop. We're going to go on because you're feeling quite pleased with yourself. Okay. Because you've just come from a meeting in a local area. Where is Thornton Abbey? Is it
It's in Lincolnshire.
in Lincolnshire? So you've just come from a meeting in Lincoln, okay, with a wealthy Lincolnshire family foundation, okay, who like to support research and projects in the arts, especially those that foster global cooperation. And they've got wind of your business and the things that you do, and they're keen to understand more about the, the sort of landscape of live entertainment and live experiences around the world. They'd like to hire you for a year, okay, at great expense, first class all the way. Home life and professional life are covered by all sorts of help while you're away, okay. They would like you to create a global league table of live experience, and you're going to travel the world to do this. You'll be followed by a TV crew. You'll be doing a TED talk when you get back. There's a book deal in it. And if you want, you can go on a global university lecture tour afterwards. You'll become the go-to person for the experience economy, and you'll be on the sofa on morning television. How does that sound? Take me now. Yeah.
We just have to take I have to take Ivy with me. Ivy's my 9-year-old daughter. She'll be furious to be left to not also be,
Yeah.
the global
She
go-to of the experience economy.
absolutely. The filmmaker Elizabeth Blake Thomas did this, and she took her daughter on her fantasy cultural year. So, no problem. You'll be taking a nanny, okay? And a friend if you wish. So, um, So all you need to do really is to decide in what city would you like to start.
Oh, well, I live in London, so I would start in London.
Okay. So I'd like you to your let's do a second city because
Oh,
I want to
okay.
bring you back to London. So
Okay,
um
then I would love to start in New York.
excellent. So you and Ivy are on the plane. Okay. You turned left when you got on the plane because you're traveling first class. The steward brings you a rosé with ice in it and a note from the family foundation. And they've got a bit of a challenge for you. It's a musical challenge. They would like you to limit your musical listening to one very specific genre or type of music for 12 months. I think I know where this might be going, by the way. Um, what would you choose?
Yeah, I mean, I would a million times over choose musical theatre.
Musical theatre. Someone rather cleverly chose live music. I thought that was cheating.
Yeah.
Musical theatre, excellent. That's wonderful. So now the you get to New York and you're met by some event and experience marketing students. They've been asked to take you under their wing. They whisk you into Manhattan, and you've got an apartment overlooking Times Square, and it's beautiful. They say, right, relax, settle in, make yourself at home. We're coming back to take you to a dance performance and then out to dinner. Okay. Now, this is where the magic wand and the time machine come in because I can put in front of you any dance based performance, any group, any dancers, living or not. We can go to a first night, anything at all that's dance related that I can conjure up for you on that stage. What would you choose, Dawn?
Oh, do you know, it's an amazing question. I trained as a dancer. That's how I even got into the industry. Um, so I have a lot of emotion bagged up, a lot of investment in dance. And when I was 18, I was studying dance at A level. You could do it at A level at the time. And I became quite obsessed with um, a performer, a lady, a choreographer called Lee Anderson, and a group she had called the Fanshaws. And they were extraordinarily cool because they were breaking these incredible boundaries and performing in nightclubs, and really, they were going to where the people were as opposed to necessarily the stage. I had this incredible teacher, Stacey Hook, who had studied dance, and she introduced us all to Lee Anderson. So I would love, love, love to see the Fanshaws perform.
Fantastic. Love it. And what about dinner afterwards? Okay. You can choose the national cuisine.
Well, I think, oh, I think we'll go for a great, smashed burger somewhere. If Ivy's with me, that's a good night.
A really good burger and steakhouse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Brilliant. Now we're going to whisk you again. Where are we flying next?
I would like to go. I would like to go. I'd like to go to Singapore, I think.
Okay. I've never been to Singapore. I'd love to go. Yeah. So we arrive in Singapore, and it's sport day in Singapore. Now we had breakdancing in the Olympics last year. We have ice dancing. We have dressage. Some sports are considered performance art.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be one of those, but if I could put a sporting event in front of you, what would you like to watch?
I would actually love. I've never seen synchronized swimming.
Mm,
Like I would really. I watch, YouTube videos of them getting ready and what they have to do to their hair, and all the training, and yeah, they're incredibly incredible athletes, I would, and yeah, I would love to see synchronized swimming.
That's a great one. Well, that's dance, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It
it
really is
is.
dance.
No
Excellent.
surprises.
I
Yeah.
love that. Now I'm going to whisk you again on this introductory tour. Where are we going next?
Okay, so when we are in Singapore, we may as well get to Sydney.
Sydney. We're in Sydney, and there is a new um, digitally enhanced art gallery in Sydney in this fictitious world, in which you can put on a set of virtual reality glass headset, and you can step into the work of a famous artist. It's not like the immersive Van Gogh where it's all projections. You're in the picture and you can walk around. It's 360 degrees, 3 dimensions. You can see in 3 dimensions what the artist could only show us in two. So which famous artist's work would you like to uh, immerse yourself in those circumstances?
Oh, that's a more interesting question because I think I enjoy genres of art. So I love the Royal Academy Summer Exhibition, for example. I love the
Mm,
event of it, probably,
mm,
probably what I enjoy. And then I love
yeah.
how eclectic it is. Um, I I have quite because I'm an 80s child, I have quite a huge enjoyment for what one wouldn't have ordinarily called art, perhaps, but I love graffiti.
Mm,
I love that. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that, but not necessarily like I'm hugely. I mean, you look at Banksy, incredible, but I wouldn't be particularly interested in stepping into that work. Uh,
mm.
I did my sorry, did my camera just go blurry?
You need to, yeah, mine does that a bit. It's
Um,
well, let's assume there's a kind of graffiti inspired exhibition,
yeah,
and you can do that, and you can walk in and through that.
I would love that.
That would be great. Excellent. Now I'm going to whisk you back to London now, and you and I are going out together every night of the week. We're going to do something cultural together before you go off and complete your year of project. On Monday, we're going back in time to a music performance of your choice. Tuesday is a theatre play. Wednesday is a West End musical. Thursday is the opera. And Friday is the movies. And between us, we can decide what we go and see. Okay. So for Monday, I'd like to ask you, is there a concert that you went to that you would dearly love to go back in time and experience again?
Um, a mu- uh, Gosh, I mean, yes, but hang on, I've really got to. These are important. This is when you ask arts and cultural people these questions, it's like we must get this right. um, so a mute.
It could be a gig, it could be something that you could have, it could be an artist or a band that you could have seen and didn't and now regret it, for
I
example.
Yeah, I would have. I would. I remember. I remember watching Beyonce at the O2
Hmm.
like a long time ago, like the first time she was at the O2, and I remember that she was Amazonian in her stature and confidence of the stage, and
Mm,
that I would quite happily be around that again. That was very
great.
exciting.
Love that. And what about one that you missed? So, or is there an artist or a band who you perhaps could have seen, um, never got around to it, and now can't? Mine would be Bob Marley.
Oh, I see. I mean, I think mine would be Queen.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
like if I could have um yeah, if I could have gone with take my dad, who's a farmer in Lincolnshire, to see Queen, like that, he would have loved that. I would have loved that. Yeah.
brilliant. Now we're in London, so we've got the Globe, but is there a theatre play that you'd particularly like to see?
I would like to see something fringy. I would like to see something that made me laugh that I've probably not even heard of.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful, I haven't seen it yet, but there's a play called The Play Where Everything Goes Wrong.
Yes.
That would be
Yes.
quite fun.
That's
Yeah,
very, I mean, and they have to say super inspiring as a group of performers. They've done amazingly.
yeah,
That's a great
fantastic.
example.
Now this will be tough. We can go back in time to the first night of any West End or Broadway musical.
Yeah. But this is actually is remarkably not tough because I would go for 42nd Street. And
Mm,
I yeah, I love that. I don't tap, even though I was a dancer. I've never learned to tap, but the classic. I need the steps. I need the mirrors coming down and the beautiful shapes. You know, that kind of MGM musical on stage. That's
yeah,
that's happiness.
love that. Drury Lane or Broadway?
I think. Well, I take if we're having to go back to where it opened, then we'll go Broadway. But
Mm,
but closer to home, at least if we're in London.
fantastic. I love it. Now, are you an opera buff, Dawn?
I'm not an opera buff. I am certainly an opera light, though,
Hmm.
so I won't be impressing anybody with my.
I'm no expert. I'm no expert by the, at all. So, is there an opera that you'd like to see at Covent Garden? I can suggest some, if not.
I mean, oh gosh, I've just had a mind blank. Obviously,
Hmm.
any I obviously know Rent very well
Hmm.
as a piece of musical theatre, and so I did. This is a few years ago when I had my marketing agency. We did head off to the Colosseum to see. You're going to tell me now what I saw, which is what Rent is based on. Ah,
Oh,
people are screaming at us
they
saying,
are.
"I can't believe you've forgotten that, Dawn," and nor can I, because that's if it came up on in a quiz, I'd tell you immediately.
It's La Boheme.
Thank you.
Yeah, which would have been my suggestion. So,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. Well, there we go.
Well, I don't know. Let's do a double header, right? Because Rent's more musical side than opera side. So we'll go and see La Boheme in the afternoon,
Oh,
Puccini at the Royal Opera House, and then we'll nip back to the Colosseum for Rent in the evening.
yeah, amazing.
Have you seen the track, the recording, the snip on YouTube of Idina Menzel laying um, "Take Me for what is it? Take
Oh,
Me."
yeah.
Have you seen the actual when she's in the booth?
No, I don't think I've seen that. I love
Oh
her
my,
recording. I listened to that, but
yeah, but when it's incredible. Somebody videos her laying it down in the studio, um, and it's just remarkable. What's it called? It's "Take Me for What I Am," isn't it?
yeah,
Um, Let me see if I can find it. Mm,
she's gorgeous. Yeah.
yeah, I've seen her live several times. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. Take Me for What I Am. I'll find it for you. It's on YouTube somewhere, and it is just incredible. She absolutely nails it in one take.
Wow.
You know, excellent. Now it's movie night. We're nearly there. It's movie night, and you and I are going to the IMAX at Waterloo Bridge. We've got the best seats in the house. The place is empty. We can put anything on there. We might even fly to the Sphere in LA as
Amazing.
well for this. What movie can we watch together that you would absolutely love?
I mean, this is honest. My absolute honest response is we're going to watch a chorus line, is what we're going to
Okay.
watch.
That's
And yeah, and but to slightly explain myself, one, of course, it's a musical, and I get that, but also I had when I was a child, if I was ever off sick, I had which wasn't frequent, but I had a VHS and I'd recorded it once, and this VHS, you know, the one you have to write your name on and do not record over this.
Yeah, and you have to pick the tabs out so people
You,
can't record
yeah,
over it.
don't. Yeah, exactly. And that was of a chorus line, and I have an amazing best friend who one of the things we have in common is she works in dance as an administrator, and yeah, she's incredible, and she and I just bonded over our obsession with a chorus line, so it just has loads of happy memories.
Perfect. Now we're nearly there, Dawn, and I'm going to give you a hero lunch before I let you go off and do all of this wonderful
Mm.
research. I'm going to book a steakhouse and burger house in London, and you can invite one person to have lunch with, and they will come, and it can be anyone you like, living or not.
Oh, one person. Um, I, I, I think I'm going to invite the person that really fed my obsession with being in this industry, though she probably never really understood it. And that's the dance teacher that a lady called Janet Dix, who I started learning dance with at the age of 5. And to put that into context, I'm 46 now, and I am now friends with her grandchildren, and
Hmm.
she's still teaching dance in
Wow.
Lincolnshire, Janet. And she probably won't know how much I owe my love of, you know, this industry and why I do it. But there's a
Hmm.
really, you know, someone who created incredible positive foundations for a love of musical theatre and dance and just enjoying everything and turning up when you maybe didn't feel like it, you know, that really that point about resilience and
Hmm.
pushing through. And I feel like, yeah, what an amazing way to say thank you to someone important.
Yeah, that's a lovely thing to do. That'd be great. Now, in a slight supplementary to this one,
Okay.
who would Janet invite?
She'd invite someone fabulous and over the top, you know, some celebrity, something something, some, let's think of someone. I mean, we could invite Lily Savage. I think we'd have fun if she did. That would be great.
That
I
would
mean,
be a hell of a lunch.
that would be a great. I mean, if that didn't end in a performance,
There's a show in that.
there is so much show in that.
Dawn, thank you so much. That's your fantasy cultural year started. You can go away now and do all of that. Um, Thank you very much for being such a good sport and doing this with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a lovely way to pull out anecdotes. So what have we got? Rose, Thornton Abbey. Um, what was your
Yeah, we've
um,
got The Alchemist,
The Alchemist, and then
Defying
we have
Gravity.
Defying Gravity. That's all we need to know, really. But thank you so much. Don't rush off, but for the time being, thank you so much for being one of our full members. That you're making us tick, and we donate as much as we can, as you know. But thank you so much for joining me for your fantasy cultural year. It's very kind of you. Thanks very
Oh,
much, Dawn.
loved it. Thank you, Mark.